Hello everybody, it's Vertical Sandwich. This is post-commentary, even though there should be live commentary for this, but I knew it was between two post-commentary videos, so I did not record live commentary. Now, if you go up here, you actually can get an Bhed primer, but I stopped one screen short. So you're gonna see us run around a little bit here. You actually want to go, it's not here. It's actually the next screen up. You have to actually go into the Sphere Theater. Spheres is a method for showing videos. It features very heavily into the sequel to this game, but it also features into the mid to later part of this game. So. I suppose it's a good thing to establish. I mean, if you're gonna... I always kind of wonder about that, like the Final Fantasy project, if they scripted this knowing there would be a sequel. Now that I'm watching it again, now that I'm playing it again, I haven't, I played the sequel after this and then, like, kind of put them both down, and I remember the sequel kind of well, but it seems to, I can see it both ways. I can see that they just watched what they had for cinematics and took elements and...
This is a pretty big town.
Luca is the second largest city in Spira.
Bhed is the largest.
I thought every town was little. You know, like Bhed and Kilika.
Towns don't usually get bigger than that. Because when a lot of people start to gather...
Sin? What about Luca? It's safe here?
It's not any different, but the stadium is here. The Crusaders fight to protect it with all their strength.
They protect the stadium?
Blitzball is really the only entertainment that we have. Spira's a little short on fun these days.
Whoa. Talk about pressure.
Yeah, it's, and Bhed survives because it's the seat of Yevon, so.
Is Xanarkand like this too?
Well, there are more buildings, all tall ones, and cramped together.
So no.
Oh. They must be so tall. Don't you ever get dizzy?
You just don't look up. When I lived in Milwaukee, every time
Let's go find Sir Orin.
There's a building with a giant ladybug on the side, and you see it when you're driving all the time. But I can't remember ever looking up at downtown and going, oh yeah, that's the ladybug building. Like, I can't even tell you which one it was. Alright, so this is your shop for Luca. We don't have any money, so we can't buy any of this stuff anyway. And then the game wants you to go here. There's a cutscene here that's going to advance the plot. So, there really isn't anything. We've grabbed pretty much everything from this area. So, it's essentially just plot, and then keep moving until we have to play Blitzball. Not till we get to play Blitzball. Till the game makes us play Blitzball.
Orin's not here.
So there you go, he's not there. Now, we haven't seen Kimahri running around with us, so... But I guess he's there.
Why not talk, Kimahri? Not see Yenke for 10 years. Say something. Kimahri forget Yenke? Forget Biran?
Alright, so now we get to get a little bit of Kimahri's backstory.
Kimahri's so small, can't see Yenke and Biran's
He is small. And compared to them, they're taller and
Kimahri forget
bigger arms.
of friends? We taught you much at time of Hornmold. Biran taught Kimahri to be strong, Rumsum.
Maybe taught too much.
Take him on.
Just beat him up. We'll actually get to Mount Gagazet is where the Ronsa live, and we will get there eventually and go through some Kamari backstory stuff. I think there will be a pretty massive backstory.
Today on this glorious day, players
I'd like to say for
from
everybody,
all
but that's not
Vespera
necessarily
have
true.
assembled here to participate in this great contest of bravery, skill, and strength.
All right, so there is an introduction to the first game of Blitzball is going to go on while we're going through kind of plot advancement. We only have to play the finals.
All of these fine teams, equally renowned, deserve to win the cup today. Such is the nature of this contest. Let us, the spectators, play our role accordingly. Let us sing to the glory of the winners and applaud equally the valor of the defeated. Contestants, may heaven be with you.
So, there are multiple teams. There's a Ronso team. There is the Albed Sykes. There are the Luca Goers. I think there's 6 teams in the game. The Besaid Aurochs or Besaid Aurochs. There's the Kilika something, and then I don't know what the 6th team is. At some point, we'll be dealing with Blitzball as a game dynamic. I talk about this a lot. Playing Blitzball games is not mandatory, but it is an option after this Blitzball game to play it whenever you want, and it does unlock some stuff. So it unlocks one thing. It doesn't unlock some stuff. It unlocks one thing. Whether or not you want that one thing is up to you. You don't need it. You really don't. Like, you can never play Blitzball after the one game you have to play. So, and we're not actually playing Blitzball. This is what Blitzball looks like, though. We won't be playing Blitzball until after this video. The next video will be all a Blitzball game. And it's going to be long, because Blitzball games are long and there's plotline going on. Blitzball games are a little shorter when you play them as a kind of side questy thing, because it's 2 5-minute halves.
Kamari, Yuna's gone.
Yeah, and he can't stick around to finish that fight, so off he goes. So we don't have to look for her. Lulu's gonna show up and let us know what the heck's going on.
Have you been?
Huh?
Yuna's been kidnapped by the Bhed Sykes. In exchange for her safe return, they want the Aurochs to lose.
What?
Yeah, well, huh?
If they're only Blitzball players, I doubt they'd do anything drastic.
Fair enough.
But we shouldn't take chances. Let's go get her.
But I don't know, I
I'm
mean...
going to. This'll be no problem. They're telling the Aurochs to throw the game, as if they needed to. I mean, how good a team can they be?
Waka said the same thing.
Yeah, I mean...
He'll take care of the game. We should go get Yuna. The Bhed boat is in Dock 4. Let's go.
Okay, if you try to go around the short way, the game won't let you. There's like a block set up. So, if you just follow the arrows, it'll run you through what it wants to run you through. And essentially, this is a tutorial for Machina enemies. Which, they're pretty obvious. They're all robots. They're Machina. They're all weak to thunder. And that's kind of about it. So, really, I don't know whether or not they have any... they don't have inherent abilities like blue magic type of Final Fantasy abilities. So you don't have to worry about... You can steal from them. But I don't think that you can... I don't think you have to get anything from them as far as, other than that. So, essentially, you're just gonna, you just beat them up. Now, the layout for this section of fights, and there's going to be a lot of fights with Machina on our way to get to where the Bhed Sykes have her.
Ancient Machina salvaged by the Bhed. They are mostly vulnerable to lightning.
If you have haste on your main character, you could theoretically use that on Lulu, make this a little faster. But essentially, it's like, 2 attack turns with your, with your main character and Kamari on one of them, so 4 attacks, and 1 attack on the other one with Lulu will end it in 2 attack turns. I do like how we reposition during battle, though. They did a really great job making turn-by-turn battles look like they're in real time. It was fantastic that they, like, that's what made Final Fantasy XII so disappointing for me, is I was just like, they abandoned turn-by-turn? Like, why would they? Like, that worked for 11 games. Like, I don't understand. Actually, well, I guess it depends on if you count some of the off Final Fantasy games. There is a canon argument about Final Fantasy, because some games were released with those kind of titles in other countries and things, and because Final Fantasy has a common set of things, rather than, we're gonna save our overdrive for, there's a boss coming up, so. Because Final Fantasy doesn't share a plot line, usually, but has a common set of elements, you can debate whether or not, you know, certain things that were kind of thrown into the canon are actually, so. I don't know that you really need, I mean, because they're all they're all self-contained, and the name of the worlds change and the layouts and stuff. It doesn't really matter, I guess, what you include and what you exclude. Unless you're making a list of like the worst ones and the best ones of all time, then you gotta include the, I guess you can include the knockoffs to put something at the bottom. I never actually looked that up to see like what people widely consider to be like the worst Final Fantasy game. Although I do know that 8 was the junction system of 8 is incredibly hated. I understand why. I know the sad thing about that, and I know I should be talking about 8 because we're doing 10, but
what's up with these guys?
The sad thing about that is it was really fixable. Like, they could have done a few simple things and fixed it. Saving a junction system on the memory card, I would have fixed a lot, because you wouldn't have to manually change everything between different types of enemies. At least in my opinion, that would have done a lot, I think, toward the way people think about it. You'd still have to set up your initial junctions, but you could set up 5 of them, and then just like, that's your game. It would have actually been really nice if you could actually have if you could just change the whole thing, like if you just had a junction option, like, but. So in battle, you could be like, I want to switch to water enemies. Alright. So, we'll get some sphere grid stuff. What you're going to want to do is we're going to go to the dock now. You definitely are going to want to save your game to refill your stats and take care of any sphere grid stuff you have to do. Because there is going to be a boss. Although the boss has a pretty big cheat going.
Excellent defense, folks. Oh, he'll feel that one in the morning.
But the referee doesn't call the foul. Waka's taking a real beating.
There are no fouls in Blitzball. Like, as far as when you're playing it, there aren't things that you can't do. The game only allows you to do things that follow the rules. So.
Still in there.
It's actually nice.
He won't last. Waka's always like that.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch.
Let's go.
She's so mean. She's mean to people she loves. That's the crazy thing. Like, I might be a mean guy, like, especially depending on what kind of situations I'm in at work, but, like, I'm not mean to the people that I love. I'm not even mean to the people that I like, that I really irritate me, that I'm related to. Like, because they're my family. Like, I don't know. I have this thing about family.
Let's go.
Comes from growing up in the country, maybe. I don't know. Speaking of which, I'm recording this actually. My parents and some relatives are in town setting up a family reunion. This is post commentary. I will be leaving for that at about in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I just want to get these done because then I can go back to live commentary and I won't have to, you know. It's hard because if I have videos like this kind of in the hopper waiting to come out and be processed, like I have to have the time to sit down and talk. Whereas the ones with live commentary, I just plug the files in and listen for a little bit and then just start the processing and walk away.
Hey, we can use
But this is like double the time. Okay, you could use the crane, but it's out of power. Once you find out it's out of power, you have to hit it with thunder 3 times to power it back up.
Probably out of power.
We're actually going to power it up in 1 turn with Lulu's overdrive. So she casts multiple spells in her overdrive. It comes by rotating the right analog stick as fast as possible. I think 8 is about my best result, actually. So there you go. That's enough to get it running. Which is good, because the thing just muted her. Or silenced her. So you use the crane, and it'll rip off the top of this thing, and I think it does 95% damage. It does a percentage of damage. So if you get this thing down to 100 hit points and then do this, it will take like 95 hit points off and leave it alive. The crane will not kill. It has 6,000 to start. So if you didn't attack it and did this, it should do, you know, 5,500 or something. I don't know. I think it actually did more than that just now. But it is, so essentially all you need to know is that it makes this boss just cake. So there we go. That's how quickly we can take this thing. I also like that that opens the door. Although I think the idea is that Yuna fights her way out. And it just so happens that once she realizes they're there, she opens the door or something.
I hope you hurt them.
A little.
A little. Like, she wouldn't say that if she hadn't, you know, beat them up a little bit.
What is
So we'll get some background on Yuna, and then the next, like I said,
There
the next
were
video
these
will be
Bhed
Blitzball.
that saved my life when I first came to Spira. They took me on their ship. They even gave me food. I was kind of hoping that this was the same ship. But it's not. I wonder if they're all gone.
What happened?
Sin came up near us. I made it out okay, but I don't know what happened to their ship.
Was there anyone called Sid on that ship?
I don't know.
There's a holdover from
They
7.
were all speaking that Bhed language.
I see.
So who's Sid?
He's my uncle, but I've never actually met him.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so that means you're Bhed too, Yuna?
So there you go.
On my mother's side, yes. Sid is my mother's brother. He became distant after my mother married. But she told me to seek him out if I ever needed help.
Because he's a good guy.
You're worried he was...
Don't tell Waka about Yuna's lineage.
So Waka hates the
thing
Bhed.
about Waka, he never had much love for the Bhed.
We'll get a little background on that.
I gotta tell Waka.
I thought I told you not to tell Waka.
The game!
Right.
Oh.
And now Lulu does something she never does again. Because we can't logically walk off the boat. It's out at sea. So she does this, and it somehow teleports us back. She never does that again. I don't understand. Like, you've now established she can teleport us. Why doesn't she do it all the time?
30 seconds left. The Aurochs are launching an all-out offensive. A long pass from Lenny. It goes through.
And there we go. The Aurochs won. First time in 23 years.
Win the match 3-2.
So now they're in the final against the best team in the game. Now, yes, is it possible to win the next game without the Jack shot? It is, but the Jack shot makes it a lot easier.
Not the most graceful win. If it was Chapu, he'd still be standing.
This is a nice little scene.
Hey, aren't you being just a little unfair?
Excuse me?
I know I could never take Chapu's place. You're the one who told Waka that, right, Lulu? And I don't think Waka would ever try to take Chapu's...
You don't want to finish that sentence.
All right, everybody, when we come back, Blitzball. Bye, everybody.